Welcome to the financial intelligence session for today. This is the session that we hold on a weekly basis via Zoom. This session is not about getting rich quick overnight, but instilling in you the skills, information, and education to build lifetime wealth that can be passed on to your children and grandchildren. I want to welcome every members of our groups to this session today. So today, what I've done is I've disabled the unmute option because I noticed some very disturbing background noises the last time. Because while I was trying to edit the video last time, I noticed some very loud background noises that I didn't even hear when I was when the session was on, right? So what I did today was I have disabled the unmute option, so everybody will remain muted. And then I've also disabled the video option as well. If you're joining us for the first time, I want to welcome you as well. We encourage you to join a session every week. So if you're new, you should think, well, yeah. So we want to encourage you to join every week, and obviously do watch our previous recordings. As each session always a powerful one, you cannot afford to miss. Okay, so make sure to invite friends and families along next time. So before we dive into today's session, yeah, if you're yet to watch the session we had last week on cryptos, please try and watch after this session. I actually uploaded that on YouTube. Some of the things that I said last week is happening in the cryptos market already. For example, there is a decline in Bitcoin's price. And if you could remember what the smart investors do, right? I explained that in that video. So you can learn what they do in that video if you're yet to watch it. So also remember that investing is not risky, but not knowing what you're doing is risky. So today we want to kick off on our financial intelligence learning. This is going to be a series of sessions, so we will pick up from where we left each time we meet again. I don't intend to take too much time on each session. So let's say around about 30 to 45 minutes per session should be good because we're doing this on a weekly basis. So we don't want to be here for too long. So I would say anywhere around about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, sometimes maybe max an hour, right? But around about 30 minutes to 45 minutes mark. So, and most of you know, these are sessions that you never want to leave once you set in. So we always have awesome and uplifting sessions. So the goal at the end is to help you learn how to become financially free and how you can convert your cash or labor into assets that will in return put money in your pocket even when you're sleeping. Remember that financial intelligence is the ability to convert cash or labor into assets that will provide cash flow in return. So we talked about this last week, so something for you to remember. What I will be talking about in this series is derived from the book Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. So this is probably one of the best books out there about financial intelligence and financial literacy. And I'm just going to put a little disclaimer right now. So, just a little disclaimer here. I'm not an affiliate of the author of the book. I'm only using what I've learned and put into practice in this book as a guide. And I'm not claiming to be a qualified teacher or associate of the author. However, after saying that, I recommend the book to anyone looking to learn more about financial intelligence. Okay. Also, there is this cash flow board game that goes along with this book. I shared this with you about a year ago, and I will revisit it from time to time so we can learn and understand how the rich build wealth, faster than when you have, even if you have little to invest in the beginning. So that's what we're gonna be learning. So we're also gonna, yeah, so we're gonna learn and understand how the rich build their wealth faster. And like some people will say, oh, but I have a little, right? But that's okay. You're gonna learn all of this stuff. So at some point we will revisit this board game that I shared with you like a year ago. Perhaps I can explain how I apply this in my life as well. And as a matter of fact, I actually decoded a wealth formula from this board game, which I have shared with you a few times now. This is quite simple, but yet powerful. Okay, so something that I would probably go back to at some point in time. So it's just like a wealth formula that I decoded from that board game created by Robert Kiyosaki. So this board game is an eye opener, and I am grateful to Robert Kiyosaki for creating this board game. It's not just an ordinary board game. It's one that is built to open your inner eyes and understand how money works and how you too can become financially free fast. You can also check it out on their website for the online version of the game. I will drop a link below this video once I upload it on YouTube. So if you check the YouTube, you can actually see the link to this board game that I decoded the wealth formula from. Let's start diving in more. There are four ways in which we can earn from, as referred to by Robert. It's called the cash flow quadrant. And it is actually divided into four categories. And like you can see on the screen, I'm going to just do something here. So we have the employee, right? So this is people, that are actually trading their time for money. And we usually call that the 9 to 5 lifestyle. So sometimes where hear people talking about the 9 to 5, yeah, it's pretty much like people trading their time for money and being an employee, right? And then we talk about the self-employed, so such as doctors, lawyers, even a photographer, a makeup artist, a tutor. The list goes on and on. We also have the business owner, such as Boston Pizza, UPS, Taco Bell, KFC, and so on and so forth. And then we have the investors, such as those who actually invest in stocks or invest in other businesses, or even paper assets, real estate, and so on. While you can become financially free in any of the four quadrants, the skills of a business owner or an investor will help you to reach your financial goals more quickly. A successful employee also should strive to become a successful investor. Okay, so you don't just say, "Oh, because you're an employee, you should learn to become an investor as well, because that way you can build your wealth faster and move, become financially free faster." So whose advice are you taking? Like, who are you listening to? Like, whose advice would you listen to? Whose advice are you taking when you're seeking financial freedom? There's a global high unemployment rate right now in the world. So this isn't tied to just one country or a location alone. Like, because I talk to people on a daily basis and people say, "Oh, they're looking for a job, or wherever they live, like, with the country they live in, they complain that there is a high unemployment rate." But you know what, guys? This is actually global. It's a global thing. It's not just about being in one country or one location. So when you're seeking to become financially free, are you being told to go to school, graduate, build a business, and become a successful investor? Or are you being told to go to school, get good grades, graduate, and find a job? You see, guys, life isn't fair. It's only you and you alone that can create the life that you guys desire. And those people that you listen to or hang out with can have a massive effect on the results in your life. Remember, I talked about something like this last week. Would you rather have someone who has achieved what you desire to be your mentor, or would you rather have someone who hasn't, right? So usually, yeah, only you can make that change in your life. And sometimes, just to be factual, like, life isn't fair sometimes. Okay, so only you can make all of this happen to you in your life. So if you haven't watched that video where I talk about that, it's from the last week's session, so you can go back and watch the session we had last week. So I'm gonna put a link as well, or if you need any information, you can always ask and I can share with you. This is a quote. So life is a fight for territory, and once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. And this is a quote by Les Brown. And I'm gonna repeat that again so you guys can actually. Sometimes when you repeat something, it sinks in more, right? So life is a fight for territory, and once you stop fighting for what you don't want will automatically take over. It's not that you just go out and make a battle with other people. Like sometimes when people read things like that, they actually don't grasp the meaning. So you don't go out there and make life a battle with other people, right? It's basically that you don't give up on your dreams or desires, because the moment you give up is the moment you start accepting mediocrity in your life. So basically what this quote is telling you is that don't give up on your dreams, right? Don't give up on the things that you want to achieve in life. But because the moment you give up, other things will take over, like the things that you don't like would take over, and you probably will not like the end result, right? So again, life isn't fair, okay? And only you can make it work for you. I can only give out information, but it's up to you to actually make use of this information. So the lessons in this book are geared towards those who are looking to transform their lives, mostly for the employees and the self-employed who are looking to become a business owner and an investor. Of course, this is not supposed to be an easy path to embark on, it's not an easy path for you guys to actually go on, but the prize at the end of the journey is actually worth the journey. It is for people who are ready to move beyond holding on to a job security and begin to achieve financial security. It is the journey to financial freedom. So, going forward, we want to dive deeper and learn how we can apply these things into our lives. Do you often hear people telling you, why don't you get a job when you're actually trying to do different and seek a different path to attain financial freedom? Well, we're going to hear what Robert shared in his book, right? Because sometimes in life, when you're trying to do something different, a lot of people tell you it cannot be done, right? Like people, if sometimes it's just because they're actually envious of you and and your success story. So sometimes people tell you, oh, maybe you're trying to build like a company or a business, and someone is trying to discourage you and say, oh, why don't you get a job or something along those lines, right? But before I actually share what Robert talked about in his book, I want you to understand that our main motive of being here, the end goal is to actually learn how we can convert cash or labor into assets that will provide cash flow in return. And this is a process. It is a journey and not something that will happen overnight. I always like to let people to know that, because sometimes people think, oh, when we talk about financial intelligence or financial freedom or financial literacy, people actually think, oh, it's something about, oh, I'm gonna start today and then tomorrow I will become rich. No, this is a process and it is a journey, and it's not something that will actually happen overnight. And again, if you're looking for someone to tell you that you will sleep tonight and wake up a millionaire tomorrow, sorry guys, I don't do that. You know that. Obviously, unless you win a lottery, right? And that's, yeah, but I'm not one that is going to tell you, oh, you can do this and tomorrow you're going to become wealthy. No, it doesn't work that way. And I always like to let you guys know that. So, Robert, the author, begins by narrating a story as far back as 1985 when him and his wife were unemployed with little money left and living in their car. So, on getting to know about their homeless situation, one of their friends offered them a basement to live in, right? So, and as their friends, relatives, and acquaintances got to know about the situation, they would often ask them, why don't you get a job? You know, people would ask them, so if you're broke and you're living in the basement, so why don't you get a job? But it's so difficult to explain to someone whose ideals is inclined towards a job. Although they were resistant to getting a jobs once in a while. And obviously, they did a few odd jobs to earn money without losing sight of their singular goal in life, because they have a goal. So, regardless of how appealing the idea of a job may seem, they did not let go of their goal. And that's one of the key lessons in life, holding on to what you believe in, holding on to your goals. Like, if you know that you want something in life, then you get to hold on to it. Yes, you can. Do one or two things, like if you want to be an entrepreneur, maybe you want to get a job and save up a little bit and start something, right? It's not saying that do not get a job. So no one is actually saying don't get a job, okay? It's just like you have to think outside of the box here, okay? And like I said, it's so difficult to explain to someone who's, like when someone is so ingrained into like the employee mindset, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to explain to them why you're doing what you're doing and stuff like that. And like I was saying, they did get a job once in a while, but they didn't lose sight of their goal, regardless of how appealing the idea of a job may seem to them at that time. However, circumstances got difficult for them and they kept persisting towards their goal. Finally, in 1989, they were millionaires, but they didn't reach their goal until the year 1994. It doesn't take money to make money. Remember, the author started from being homeless and having nothing. And many people say that it takes money to make money, but he actually disagreed, because to get from homeless in 1985 to reach in 1999 and then to become financially free by 1994 did not take money. They had no money when they started and they were in debt at that time. It also doesn't take a good formal education, because the author has a college degree and he can boldly say that achieving financial freedom had nothing to do with what he learned in college. There isn't much you can do by studying calculus and trigonometry and chemistry and physics, French, English literature, or whatever. There are lots of examples of people who actually left their studies to start a business, and lots of them are self-made millionaires in this information age. Remember, I was talking about information age last week. It's still part of what I'm talking about, because this is going to be a weekly series, and it's impossible for us to cover all of it in one day, but it's going to be like from one session, then we move to another. So now, a question may arise from the previous example. If it doesn't take money to make money and schools do not teach you how to become financially free, then what does it take? Well, the answer is it takes a dream, a lot of determination, a willingness to learn quickly, and the ability to use your God given assets properly, and to know which sector of the cash flow quadrant you want to generate your income from. And I'm going to repeat that so you can understand. The answer is, if it doesn't take money to make money, then what does it take? So once again, it takes a dream and a determination and willingness to learn quickly. Remember the word learn quickly, and the ability to use your God given assets properly. Okay. Everyone is born unique. We're all a unique beings that we all have different talents and God given assets. So we got to learn how to use our God given assets properly, and then to know which sector of the cash flow cloud quadrant to generate our income from. Another question may arise: what is cash flow quadrant? You see, different methods of income generation require different frames of mind, and it also requires different technical skills, different educational paths, and different types of people. Different people are attracted to different quadrants. While money is all the same, the way it is earned can be vastly different. If you begin to look at the four different labels of each quadrant, you may want to ask yourself, which quadrant do you want to generate majority of your income from? Yeah, so I'm just going to say that again. If you start looking at the four different levels of each quadrant, you might want to ask yourself, which quadrant do you generate the majority of your income from? You can earn income in all four quadrants, okay? So most of us have the potential to generate income from all four quadrants. So, like I was saying, you can earn income in all four quadrants. Okay. So, most of us, we usually have the potential to generate income from all four quadrants. Which quadrant you or I choose to earn our primary income from is not so much what we learn in school, it's more about who we are at the core values, our strengths, our weaknesses, our interests, things like that. It is these core differences that attracts us to or repel us from the four quadrants. And I'm going to give an example here. A doctor may work at someone's hospital as an employee, right? Or a doctor may be self employed and start a private practice, setting up an office, right? Hiring staffs and building a private list of clients. So let me just say that again. A doctor may work at somebody else's hospital and be an employee, right? And that's all they do. Or same doctor could be self-employed and start a private practice, setting up an office, hiring staffs and building a private list of clients. Or same doctor can own a business, be a business owner, own a clinic or laboratory and hire other people. And in this case, the doctor would own the business but not have to work in it. And, a doctor may invest in other companies or stocks as an investor, right? So one person may be actually involved in more than one activity of the above. So it's very important to understand you're not tied up to one quadrant. It's also important to know that you can be rich or poor in all four quadrants. There are people who earn millions and people who go bankrupt in each of the quadrants. Being in one quadrant or the other does not necessarily guarantee financial success. Not all the quadrants are equal. So individuals, that might be practicing on the left side of the quadrant, maybe they're like self-employed, or you're obviously on the left side of the quadrant, right? So you will have less tax advantages than individuals practicing on the right side of the quadrant. And these are guys that are business owners and investors, right? Again, this is something that I will probably talk about later. Like, I think I did um, shared about this a long time ago. So, like most people trading their time for money, they pay more tax than people who are actually own a business or like if they're investors, right? So it's something that you need to understand as well. So going back to the author, here's Rich Dad's advice. Money is surely not life. Yes, it is important to support life, and working your life away is foolish. Get people to work for you. You gotta work smart. That's actually called leverage. Make use of other people's experiences or ideas and pay them for their time. For example, and I'm gonna give an example. I can build a website, but when I'm doing like most of my businesses, I don't build my website myself because I want to free up that time and do other things. And then I would hire an expert to build a website for me and I would pay them. So that's basically what it means. But then I've got the all time to do other things that I want to do, right? So as the author grew up, he actually learned the importance of his rich dad's teachings. His real dad got busier as his success grew, while his rich dad had more free time and spent more time with his family as he grew successful. So remember, guys, we're all different, and one quadrant is not more important or better than another. For example, in every village, town, city, nation in the world, there is a need for people operating in all four quadrants to ensure the financial stability of the community. Okay. Also, as we grow older and gain experiences in life, our interests change. For example, someone coming up in life, they might not mind starting up and working and saving, and as at that time, it's okay for them, to say, oh, you know what, I want to save and build a business when I reach a certain age. So as we grow older and gain different experiences in life, our interests change. So, folks, as you guys all know me, I am always talking about taking action. Now, let me give you an analogy, right? So, people say information, and you guys in the group, I talk about this, and I cannot but talk about this. People say information plus knowledge is power, but well, that isn't always the case, and let me tell you why. You see, if you actually have a recipe, like of the most delicious cake in the world, that's information or knowledge, right? That means you have like information or knowledge in your disposal. Well, if you never make use of the knowledge that you have, which is the recipe to bake the most delicious cake in the world, then the information is meaningless. So basically, it serves no purpose. Okay, so not even to you, or if you never take action. So if you have that information and you never make use of it, it's useless. So that's why the information plus knowledge is not always power if you don't do anything. Same goes with everything in life. It's of no use if after this session today, or after several sessions that we have together, and you do nothing with this information and the knowledge gained, you will just remain where you are. So this is why I always talk about taking action taking and stuff like that. So aside from the ones aside from the action that you will set for yourself, I will actually give you a simple action to take today. And what I want you to do is take a journal and write down the advice from Rich Dad, and then write down the things that you can do to help you to start walking smarter. Okay. So, this is the action step that aside from the one that you guys going to take, because I always encourage you guys to keep pushing and taking action. That's the only way. No matter the knowledge you have, if you don't take action, it's basically useless. So take a journal and write down the advice from Rich Dad, and then write down the things that you can do to help you to start working smarter. Okay, this is a very simple task to do. I'm not asking you to do something too much here. So just basically to write it down, the advice that we saw earlier, and then basically write down the things that you can do to help you to start working smarter. So guys, because it's a weekly session, I really don't want to take more than 30 minutes or 30 to 45 minutes on each session. So we're not gonna be here for too long. So let's stop here today, guys, and continue next week. I hope you have taken away with you one or two things today. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. I also want to encourage you to invite others to join in the future. So, also, if you do have any question now, I'm still pretty much available, and we can use the chat option to ask questions. So, do we have any question in the house, guys? Yeah, go ahead, please. So Chris wants to say something about taking action. Yes, please go ahead. Hold on, Chris. I'm gonna unmute you if I can. Hold on a second. Chris, I believe you've been unmuted, so you can go ahead and talk, please.
Okay, I just want to say this because of what you said about taking action. Though
Okay.
actually, I ought to reach out to you on Telegram to share, like it's like a testimonial anyway. So I remember vividly 2019. There was a particular coin you make mention of. I think a melon by the name.
Okay. Okay.
While we were doing the cryptocurrency stuff, you were giving us recommendation of that. So myself and two other colleagues in the group, so we decided to put a few dollars into that
Wow.
particular coin. Then when we did
Wow.
that, we left it because when we put the money in, it was at that point the price started melting, and we do make jest of it that this melon is just melting every time. We just laugh over it. So at a particular point, we forgot about it. We left it. We don't even touch it. Not until I think after the lockdown around maybe September last year. So one of us who was in charge of it just checked the coin and alerted us in the group that the melon has really done well. We say, what happened? Actually, the coin has increased. How will I say? Maybe like it has increased over like 300 or 400 plus
Wow.
percentage. We really made a lot of money from it, I must say. And
Wow.
yes, can you hear me?
I'm here. Yeah, yeah, sure, we can. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Hello, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead, please. It's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. So we actually, and that can you hear me? Yeah. So it was at that point, we just there was a lockdown here, and people were finding things very difficult. So at that point, we sold the coin, and we make. I just want to encourage others. Whatever we hear on this platform, we should take action. Action is commodity of kings. We should not, we should not allow the fire to die, because most of the time you hear it, you do nothing about it. Just as I was sharing with somebody today, if we do nothing about what we've heard, your situation remains the same. It will be the same story over and over again. We took the this thing. Then I think we bought, when we sold the coin, we make like more than triple of the money we invested.
Wow.
When the money came, it came at the time the money came, we're all jubilating. We're all jubilating that thank God we took that we acted on the instruction then. So I'm encouraging others, whatever we hear on this platform, don't just hear for hearing's sake. Do something about it. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That was so awesome and amazing. And I want to thank Chris for that. That's a very encouraging testimony from Chris. And I always say that taking action. Okay, let me put it this way. You see, a lot of people pray, 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 but they never take action. Let me give you an example. Someone graduated from the university, they're looking for a job. They go to the mountain 24/7. They keep praying and praying and praying and fasting and praying, but the action part is missing. Like, come on, get your resume or your CV done and go out there and look for a job. And at the same time, you're praying, right? But people do not grasp the understanding of taking action. Taking action is actually a law in the universe. Like, it's basically like if you don't do nothing, you're not gonna get anything. That's just the way it is. It's just as simple as that. So yeah, so thanks, Chris. And yeah, I'm gonna share mine as well. So I was saying I have another sister in the group. She had a similar testimony as well. So basically, she around about that time, I told her about these coins, and she just got like $100 or maybe $120 around about that time. Anyway, to cut this long story short, today $120 is worth $1,000 to her. She was so happy. Like, she was like, wow, I am so grateful that I listened to you. She was so happy. Like, it was her mom's birthday, and she was like, oh, I'm just gonna take some money out of this, this money, and then I'm gonna spoil my mom and stuff like that. That's the way it is, guys. So if you don't take action, or like I always say, if you don't know what you're doing and then you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're probably going to fail. So investing is not risky. Not knowing what you're doing is risky, guys. So that's just the way it is. So thanks, Chris. Okay, so I want to answer Breezy's question. Yeah. So Breezy is saying that he can't wait till next week. So what quadrant is the best to start from? So Breezy is a mentee of mine, and I know you're a very young chap. So I'm gonna, yeah. So we do have things that like we're doing together, but like during the presentation, I said that no quadrant is actually different from the other, but you have to go to your inner cause, like go into what you believe in. And I know what you want to do, and I know what you believe in. So if you really, really believe in what you want to do, then actually your example was the same example that I used. So you can be in you can be in all four quadrants. You can actually be in all four quadrants, but you want to visit your inner cause, and then what is your God-given assets? Like, what is the thing that you were born with that nobody can take away from you? So you want to find out the thing that you were born with, like no one on earth can actually take that away from you. Okay. So then you want to apply that to what you do. But there isn't no quadrant like say, oh, this is better than the other, but because it depends on the kind of person you are. But if you want to become financially free faster, then you want to be a business owner and an investor. That's the way that you can become financially free faster. Because if you're an employee, remember, somebody else is controlling your time, somebody else is controlling how much you get paid, right? But if you're a business owner, you're controlling everything. So you're the one controlling your time, you're the one controlling how much you get paid and how much other people get paid as well. And obviously, if you're an investor is basically money working for you. But again, each of those quadrants require that you understand what you're doing. For example, an employee cannot just become a business owner overnight. So it takes time, like you gotta learn from people that know what they're doing. You want to find a mentor. There's so many things that you want to do. That's why it's not an easy like that's why it's not an easy journey at all. So it's yeah, it's something that you really want to go into your inner cause and see what works best for you. So do we have any other questions, guys? Okay, guys, so it looks like we have no other questions for now. So thank you guys for being part of the session today. It's a good one, and we should be back here next week. So once again, take action. It doesn't matter if all you have to do is just to take a journal and write down, what like the thing that I ask you to do. It doesn't matter. It's still taking action. The reason I gave you a simple action to take is because it's so simple to do, right? So if I give you a big task, then it's probably, if you're not someone that's very disciplined, then you're probably not going to do it. But if you can start, with the little things, then by the time we get to the big ones, then you probably have the, attitude and behavior of, taking action. So that's why. So please, guys, take action, and let's meet again next week. So have an awesome weekend. We gotta meet tomorrow for the lifestyle transformational coaching. So that's different. That's not about financial intelligence, but that's a different topic entirely. But it's still part of life's journey. So that will be it, guys. Thanks for being part of the session today, and have an awesome weekend. I love you guys all. Take care, and have a good one.